Hello there, my name is Ajara Tijani. Now let me begin this conversation with the powerful words of Martin Luther King Jr., who says, "We have learned to fly the air like birds and swim the sea like fish, but we have not learned the simple art of living together as brothers. Our abundance have brought us neither peace of mind nor serenity of spirit." That's very deep. In this part of the world, African continent, there is a lot we need in terms of engendering peace and dialogue politically and ethno-religiously. Many African nations are sitting on the kegs of gunpowders waiting to explode any moment. That's so sad. And if we fail to deeply reflect about these words, I'm afraid one day, according to Franklin Thomas, our descendants will think it is incredible that we paid so much attention to things like the amount of melanin in our skin or the shape of our eyes or our genders instead of the unique identities of each of us as complex human beings. It is Africa's Diary, people, and as always, we keep you updated and informed of what's trending across the African continent. This week's edition of Africa Diary is fully loaded. So let's go already. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Africa Diary. Once again, my name is Ajara Tijani. As usual on the program, we are going to be starting from Somaliland. So much have really happened in Somaliland and, of course, across African region. Now, Somaliland inaugurates the second ICT conference. The Somaliland government has put on display the second ICT conference in Hargeisa, where the Minister of ICT and Technology played a greater role in organizing this conference. Many high-profile dignitaries, including diplomats, attended the ceremony. Let's get to see the report.
At the most basic level, ICT encompasses all technologies that allow individuals and businesses to interact in the digital world. Internet connectivity, online transactions, and cloud computing are just a few to mention. Somaliland has officially launched the second ICT conference, which the theme of this year is Shaping Somaliland Digital Future, which almost the commercial telecommunication companies are willing to participate in this ICT conference. Somaliland Vice President Abdurrahman Sayli'i, the Minister of ICT and Technology, Dr. Abdulwali Sufi, diplomats, and the country's leading telecommunication companies, including Telesom and Somtel, have played their role in this conference. In his remarks, Dr. Abdulwali Sufi, the Minister of ICT and Technology, while elaborating the motive of this conference, said, is to create a platform for all technology stakeholders in the country.
Today we have started 2 days Somaliland ICT conference. The purpose of the conference is to enable environment that all ICT stakeholders can discuss the ICT issues in Somaliland also to discuss accelerating ICT development in the country. And at the same time, there will be some discussions about ICT innovation in Somaliland. And at least all ICT stakeholders, including government and private sector, also international NGOs and academia and other stakeholders can meet together. And we will discuss a lot of. I hope that the result of this conference will be fruitful for Somaliland society, and hope that in 2021, Somaliland will achieve more about ICT sector.
Abdurrahman Sailei, the Vice President of Somaliland, has advised the public to engage the race for advancing technology in the world effectively. He said the country of low advancing technology is left behind by the rest of the world.
Workshop-kani ama aqoon-isweydaarsigani lagu qaabaynayo technology Somaliland.
This conference shaping the technology future of the country, which we are engaging in the race of advanced technology in the globe. And I should thank this to the respective participants here.
Taiwan, iyo madaxda kale ee ka socota dhiibgeliyo cid kastoo hay'adaha ka caawiyay, wasaaradda hawsha ka caawiyay.
Other guests have expressed optimism on this conference and encouraged Somaliland to never give up taking part in such technology conferences.
Just to mention how Somaliland is really ready to be part of the fourth revolution of technology, that we are so looking forward to take advantage what Somaliland is about, localizing the technology, considering what Somaliland inherits from its own ancestors, and to use that old knowledge, the indigenous knowledge that we used to have, into the new technology. And that is the way that we can grow together with our partners, with Taiwan and other colleagues who are here coming from the other countries. And we're so looking forward to work with you, with the technology that you have, and the indigenous knowledge and the local knowledge that we own and we want to build on in order to succeed and be part of the revolution, of the fourth revolution of technology.
As the second conference takes place, here the ICT sector is well developed in Somaliland. It's actually one of the most developed in the region, and we're trying to advance it, shape it, and also establish laws to protect both ends, the citizens, the end users, and the developers as well.
The conference has brought together different stakeholders of the ministry, and we are expecting a fruitful discussion based on the theme of this year's conference, which is Shaping Somaliland's Digital Future, will be produced soon. We are very glad that you have participated all.
Other participants have also praised the event and thanking the Minister of ICT and Technology for organizing the Somaliland Second ICT Conference.
The conference is about the government to play its role by engaging the Somaliland community, by bringing together the Somaliland ICT sector stakeholders, and the government and the Ministry of Communication and ICT to guide the nation's ICT sector.
I'm so happy and I'm so glad to be part of Somaliland ICT conference. It's a big, mashallah. I will so happy Somaliland ICT conference and welcome to, inshallah, in the next years.
Technology has not only brought the country and people closer, but it has allowed the country's economy to become a single interdependent system to contact either business or family members.
Welcome back from that report. Of course, the future of the digital future of Somaliland is very, very promising with that conference. All right, we're still in Somaliland, and this time around, we're looking at something that is universal solvent. I'm talking about water. Water, of course, is life, and Somaliland commissioned Water Quality Control Laboratory in a grand style. The Somaliland government has unveiled a new water quality control laboratory in Hargeisa, Somaliland capital, in a bid to tackle the increased waterborne diseases in the country. The launching ceremony was attended by Somaliland government officials, including the Vice President and delegates from Djibouti. Contaminated water and a lack of sanitation are killers in many African countries where waterborne diseases are constant threats to health. Research says only 30% of Somalis have access to clean water. leaving the majority vulnerable to several life-threatening diseases. The launching of Hargeisa Water Quality Control Laboratory, which is a regional bacteriological water testing and chemical analysis laboratory, no doubt makes a huge difference. The General Manager of Hargeisa Water Agency, Muhammad Ali Darot, in the launching event, established that the mandate of the agency is to supply clean pipe-borne water to the people of Hargeisa, adding that the introduction of the country's leading water quality control laboratory will spur the proper monitoring of the quality of water supply to the entire Hargeisa. We have to work hard on how to make a long-term policy and create what's called subsurface dams, because the dams that the people of Hargeisa drink now will not last. Then we have to capture the waters in the valleys. Yes, we are planning on how to do that right now. The second plan going on is to build a large hydro project which the agency is highly concerned about in Hargeisa, which we believe will take off the burden of the entire city of Hargeisa. This is a plan we're currently pursuing. He said the water testing laboratory was launched to tackle the increased waterborne diseases in the country. The Vice President of Somaliland, Abdurrahman Seli'i, eschewed the need for the establishment of the laboratory, adding that it will save not only the many lives of the Hargeisa, but the entire nation at large.
Ceremony for operating the laboratory test for water, it will reduce the epidemic diseases when it's clear, the water is cleaned and tested. So I'm very happy to attend the launching of this laboratory test.
Other government officials highlighted the importance of this laboratory for the country.
The significance is better water, better health, and it's good for the community, because this is prevention of all the waterborne diseases is going to be addressed. And also, of course, how many of our people die of waterborne diseases?
Actually, this laboratory will be beneficial to the people in Hargeisa, because we will be testing the quality of water used in Hargeisa city. This laboratory is actually very standard, and it will be able to test the different quality parameters of drinking water. We have the physical parameters like the turbidity, TDS, conductivity. We also have microbiological testing in that room. We have microbiological parameters like total coliforms, fecal coliforms, and E. coli. We also have all the chemical parameters. We are using spectrophotometric, one of the best techniques to determine or to know the concentrations of metal ions in the water. We are testing the metal ions that determines the taste, okay, of the water. For example, if you have a high content of calcium and magnesium in your water, that will increase the hardness of water. So we determine in this laboratory, in Hargeisa Water Quality Laboratory, we determine the total hardness to know exactly how hard that water is. We're also testing toxic and heavy metals in this laboratory. We are testing cadmium, we are testing copper, we are testing arsenic. These metals are really very toxic if they are above the standard, and somebody uses for a long period of time, it actually causes very serious health problems. So we are testing here in Hargeisa Water Quality Control Laboratory periodically, like every 3 months and every half a year. For the microbiological tests, we test it routinely, daily. These parameters should be tested daily because they change over time. They change every day. They change. So we normally test microbiological tests daily. Also, the physical parameters, we test them also daily. And here, if you can see, here we have the spectrophotometric, and these are the chemicals that we use for the chemicals for the determination of ions or cations.
The laboratory manager Shuaib Ahmed affirmed that every water treatment plant has different standards and tests that they run but by having your water tested by yourself, you will know that a comprehensive analysis has been done on your water's quality. He appreciated the support from within and outside the country.
Just thank anybody who participated in establishing this laboratory, because it took like many years to establish. So I would like to thank the manager, Hargeisa Water Quality General Manager, Mr. Mohammed Ali Darod. I would like to also thank my co-workers who really worked so hard to establish this water laboratory. The equipments are very expensive. Also, the chemicals are very expensive because they are European standard. We bought the chemicals from Merck, Millibor, and Sigma Aldrich. You know, they are very expensive and very good quality chemicals. So we'll make sure to ask fund from the government, and we will have analysis for the private.
The Hargeisa Water Agency, which has been functioning for the past 40 years, has succeeded in introducing such a water testing laboratory for the first time in its history. Welcome back, Africa Diaries, the program, and now we're moving to Somalia. Somalia President affirms he is committed to holding elections without delay. Somalia President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo has affirmed to the general public and Somalia's partners on the country's readiness for a well-coordinated elections as scheduled. Let's see the report.
During the signing ceremony of the recently passed electoral agreements at the State House Villa, Somalia, the president expressed optimism over the country's preparedness, with his signing marking the culmination of the inclusive political agreement on indirect elections reached in Mogadishu by the leadership of the federal member states and federal government. President Farmajo has also directed all government agencies to play their roles effectively for the smooth facilitation of the elections in accordance with expectations of the signing political agreements. He pointed out that his assent of the agreement is clear testament of the administration's unequivocal commitment to further Somalia's democratization process and steer the country towards the path of peace and prosperity during and after the elections. The President Mohammed lauded the leadership of the federal member states and the Banadi regional administration for the endeavor and critical role in bringing about an agreement on the country's electoral process as a result of the negotiations which took place in Dusamareb and Mogadishu, respectively.
Region, Gamuduk leader and former president meets in Mogadishu in a similar development. The Gamuduk state leader Ahmed Abdi Karkar and the former Somalia's president Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud have met in Mogadishu over the upcoming elections. Somalia is expected to hold elections this year.
Ahmed Abdi Karkar, the Galmudug state leader and the former Somalia's president Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud have held talks in Mogadishu over the country's upcoming elections. The two leaders discussed the controversial Galmudug representatives in the Federal Electoral Commission, though it is not yet clear if anything has been agreed. Galmudug state leader has been playing a great role in recent times for bringing the federal government and its member states closer together. Somalia is expected to hold parliamentary elections in this year, followed by the presidential election.
The UNHCR's representative for Sudan, Axel Bishop, said most were families living on foot because it had become too dangerous to stay.
في السودان شفت كم سنة اشتغلنا حاجاتنا كلنا جينا هناك ولا واحد ما جبنا ولا شفت كده بس جينا هنا الراجل اللي مش ما بعرف انا عسي كم سنة بفتش بس ما قال الجو انا ما بعرف انا لحد هسي
والله يعني زي ده ما عرفت عنه لكن اللي بتشوفه هو عملوا كان في ماتوا شديد ماتوا والله اي ماتوا قالوا بعد ده قالوا يلا طلعوا مش اي محل كله طلع اي والله.
Ethiopia has denied targeting civilians as it continued its campaign against the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front. Central government forces say that they are continuing to advance on to regional capital Mekelle, though information is hard to verify because of the communications blackout. More than 30,000 people have now crossed the border into Sudan.
All right, Africa Diary is the program. Of course, today, what you get to hear, a lot of news and stories you get to hear from Africa is either about election, preparation towards election, or post-election issues. And in Uganda, to be precise, United States condemns violence amid Ugandan protest. The US has condemned the violence that gripped Uganda's capital, Kampala, and other major towns following Wednesday's arrest of presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi. That seems to be the youngest of all the presidential candidates in Uganda, and that man is known as Bobby Wine.
Bobby Wine was arrested during an election rally in the Eastern District of Luka after being accused of violating coronavirus guidelines set by Electoral Commission.
Officer, you are requesting me, and I'm saying I don't want to come out because it is within my right not to come out. Okay? This is my camp. I have an appointment with your bosses, and I'm going there.
Ugandan presidential candidate Mugisha Muntu has suspended campaigns until other opposition candidates who were arrested on Wednesday are released. Mr. Muntu called for the release of Robert Kyagulanyi, popularly known as Bobby Wine, and Patrick Amuriat. The two candidates were arrested separately during their campaigns.
Kasa, this was the last stopover for today, which was already prepared. Unfortunately, we have been operating in an abnormal situation already, and today the situation has become extra abnormal because one of the presidential candidates, Honorable Kyagulanyi, has been arrested, and we understand, we have not fully confirmed that the number of people have been shot in Jinja. We don't know how many yet, and in Kampala as well. So right from this evening, we are going to suspend our campaign tour, until this matter is fully resolved. It does not make sense to have presidential candidates who have been fully nominated and we're in a campaign period of only 60 days, that the regime should visit terror upon any, whether it is one or two. The regime needs to know that we are dealing with a very delicate situation in this country. They should really stop being reckless, because you can do one thing and it sparks off a problem that becomes larger than what you anticipate. We don't want to go in that direction.
The arrest of Bobby Wine has sparked protests in the country that have led to the death of 3 people. Mr. Muntu asked the government not to be reckless during the campaign period as the situation was volatile. Police said 3 people died and dozens were injured in the protest. The US mission there has urged all parties to renounce violence and to undertake measures to reduce tensions. Uganda will hold presidential elections in January.
All right, now we are in Rwanda. King Faisal Hospital Kigali secures new technology to diagnose and treat heart conditions. That's actually a good development. Rwanda has acquired a state-of-the-art catheterization lab. King Faisal Hospital Kigali can now diagnose and treat heart conditions, correct the blood flow, repair holes in the heart, and locate blockages in the heart vessels. That's actually a good step taken in the right direction.
Rwanda has acquired a state-of-the-art catheterization laboratory. Among the services offered to heart patients using this technology include the treatment of heart conditions, correct the blood flow, repair holes in the heart, and locate blockages in the heart vessels. Previously, most of the people that needed this kind of treatment would travel to countries like Kenya, India, and parts of Europe. Some of the patients treated with heart disease by medical experts at King Faisal Hospital using this technology say that they found a positive response to their illness.
I
developed a heart attack condition. I thought no one would survive a stroke, but they operated me and I got out of coma and I got healed 100%. If it wasn't for this treatment, even with the little I completely healed and I'm now feeling fine. They didn't operate me, they just inserted a device in me that helps my heart to properly function. I used to have extreme hypertension in 40 or 45, but now the problem has been solved. I feel as a young man. The Deputy Chief Executive Officer at King Faisal Hospital Kigali, Dr. Kalimba Edgar, says that the equipment was expensive but assured that it will serve every patient regardless of their financial status.
Izi mashini twaguze ni mashini zihenda n'ubuvuzi buhanitse kandi
this treatment has a price due to the fact that these machines are expensive to maintain them. The good thing is that the government took all this into account. Insurance companies are also helping us, and it is treatment that we want to reach all the people. With the hand of the government and insurance companies, I think this will be possible. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ngamije Daniel, says that this program comes to combat non-communicable diseases as well as improving the services provided to the patients. As it is our responsibility, we want this health service to be available to everyone and at a good price. It will benefit everyone. Abroad, one has to pay 20 million Rwandan francs for an angioplasty procedure, but here in Rwanda, it is 4 million Rwandan francs. The management of King Faisal Hospital says that heart patients were receiving inadequate medical treatment due to lack of capacity. Many doctors are currently being trained on the use of this technology, which means that from the first month of next year, patients from neighboring countries will be receiving medical treatment in Rwanda.
All right, welcome back from that report. That's where we'll draw the curtain on today's package. But just before we do that, you know how we do it on the program. We give you African proverb. That is the Toma Pep on the program, and we'll be right back. Okay, we hope you've picked one or two from that words. You know, African proverbs are so very much powerful. You remember how we started with the ones when we opened up the program. Okay, this is where we press a pause on today's edition of the program. Of course, we'll be back again next time, same station, same time. Africa Diary is the program. My name is Ajara Tijani. Keep watching, drop your comments and observation. Be rest assured that we're going to respond to them. Bye.